You're very welcome back. It's the 4th of July, so our pals across the Atlantic are celebrating their Independence Day.
So this morning we're serving up an American favourite, but Riggers from Riggers D8 is back with us, and he's going to get to tart it up a bit.
Oh,
apparently.
How
morning.
How are you guys? How are you?
Happy 4th of July.
And all that jazz.
Happy 4th.
Any excuse to have some mac and cheese?
Is there a more American dish?
Well, yeah, so we were kind of discussing what will we do, and I just thought, well, why not just do mac and cheese and then tart it up a little bit? So, yeah,
what are you doing?
Perfect Sunday. So, it's very simple, but it's just a lot of cheese. So, like lots of different types of cheese to kind of give that, rounded flavour. And then I'm putting a little bit of truffle oil and a bit of blue cheese, which wouldn't be traditional. So that's kind of the tarting it up vibe. So what I have here, so you have it there in front of you. So here's like the dish, right? Some sourdough breadcrumbs with parmesan on top. Just taking that out of the oven, so it's nice and gooey. Okay. What I want to do is make a lot of sauce. Okay. So what can happen is, so I'll start that. I'll put some butter in. So about 200 grams of butter. Okay. So we're going to make a roux to start the sauce. So with mac and cheese, if you make it ahead, it's lovely, but it can dry out. So it can be very claggy. Because it's all just cheese, so it will congeal up. Now, still delicious, bang it in the microwave, lovely. But you kind of want to make it as fresh as you can. So what I did yesterday was I made my cheese, I cooked my pasta, I've more here which is already cooked, washed with cold water so that it doesn't congeal, right? And then it's ready to assemble if you want it to get ahead. And then just bang it in the oven, and then it's fresh out of the oven.
Still fresh,
delicious, okay?
Cool.
So starting with my butter. So I'm going to melt that up, and then I'm going to throw my flour in. So equal parts butter, equal parts flour. So 200 grams of that. So we just want to
And this is a basic roux you're making.
So that's a roux there.
It's a white sauce.
Yeah, basic white. So I'm going to make a cheese, white sauce, and then add the cheese to it. Okay. So it's like a bechamel, white sauce, and then we add the cheese in, okay? So I want not to, equal parts flour gives you, and butter, a fairly loose roux. If you want to make it really, really thick, add more flour. But we don't want to make it super thick. Lots of sauce, okay? So there's the roux there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some milk and some cream to that, okay? So I have about 1 litre in total, okay?
Okay.
It probably will seem like a lot. It's 500 grams of pasta, so that's kind of 1 packet of macaroni. You can use any shell pasta if you can't get macaroni, because it can be a little bit tricky to get. Okay, but you can use
penne or
conchigli or penne or something like that. That's kind of small. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to come up. Okay.
What's the twirly ones?
Fusilli.
Fusilli.
Yeah, anything like that is good. Okay.
Play for Roma. In the 90s.
So we're going to bring that up.
And you're not seasoning that sauce at all, no?
I'm going to season it a little bit, but the cheese is obviously super salty, so you don't need to season a lot. And I want to keep it quite white and pure, and I don't add a lot of pepper and stuff into it. So it's just the cheese, right? So what I have here is the cheeses. Okay, so I have grated white cheddar, Gruyere. I have some Parmesan, and I have something else that you can see on the website. Right?
Well, is the blue cheese in that?
No, that's not in there yet. Okay. So dump all that in, okay? Now, hopefully this will come up to a... this is going to take you a good 10 minutes just to melt down, right? And you're going to have to stir and stand over it, okay? You don't want it to catch on the bottom. You can do it on a high heat.
Takes a bit of minding, doesn't it?
But you just have to whisk it through, okay? So that's going to come up, and it's going to get really, really thick. And what's going to happen is your cheese is going to start melting, and it's going to be like a block. Keep going, keep going, keep going. As your cheese melts into the cream and the milk, it will become sauce-like, okay? So that's that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some blue cheese into that. So about 150 grams of blue cheese. So it's a lot of cheese.
It is.
Okay?
This is cheese-tastic.
Yes. So blue cheese in, right?
A couple of laps around the garden after it, you'll be grand.
Yeah, go for it. You'll be in a coma for about 2 days.
Asleep,
but once you wake up, go for a run.
Well, we have it tucked in when we're here.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how much, because blue cheese is such a strong flavoured cheese, how much that's going to dominate.
It's not too strong, because I don't want it totally dominating the flavour. It's just to give a background flavour.
Oh, mamma mia.
And it should, and even as it's sitting on the plate, it will start to harden up, but it should be nice and, saucy. It shouldn't be too, you don't just be like a lasagna.
The silence has
You know
descended. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the crumb topping.
Yeah, so...
You'll get to that, though, so you're still mixing the cheese through anyway.
So I'm going to try and bring that up as quick as I can, right? So what I'm going to do is... we need to add some truffle, all right? Now, you don't have to do this. This is perfect as it is. But if you want to do some truffle now, people are not going to be able probably to start going looking for truffles and finding truffles. Very expensive. So what I have is some truffle oil, okay? So I have a black or black truffle oil and white truffle oil. Black being a much stronger flavour, white being a more subtle flavour. So you can add either or combination. But like, so one of these, so I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons, okay?
You can taste that, but it's just in the background.
It's just in the background. You don't want it to be super overpowering, and it'll give you that mushroomy, kind of truffly flavour in the background, okay? So you can see that that's starting to thicken, okay? The cheese is starting to melt, all right? So our pasta, as I say, is already done here, okay? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is now, because that's nearly melted down, but it will thicken slightly, okay? I'm going to take my pasta, and I'm going to just dump my sauce right in, okay? Now, what you can do then is you can add some more grated cheese, but actually, even if you just want to loosen it up, you don't have to cook this out until it's really, really, really melted and thickened. You can do it at this point, right? So just stir your pasta around really, really well. Okay, make sure it's completely coated. All that cheese that's still not melted down will melt away in the oven and give you a nice stringiness, okay? So that's your sauce. Season it a little bit, okay? But as I said, the cheese is strong, so you don't want it too salty, just taste it for seasoning.
It is, but it's smooth and subtle as well. Like it definitely doesn't overpower it.
And what you want is then, you get it into a Pyrex dish, so I'm just going to go like right in, okay? So,
and that's the consistency you're looking for, that it's not too wet or it's not going to be too dry.
No, but you do want it to be like, that's why you put in like that amount of liquid and that amount of sauce, because you just don't, because look, see the difference? So you want that stringiness, see? But you don't want it to be like, as I say, like a brick, okay?
I've seen some American chefs particularly, because this is a bit of a trend now, where they'll cook it and they let it go cold. And then they'll slice it and pan fry it. That's kind of a real posh way of doing it. It's gorgeous.
It's really, really good. That's perfect as well. So it's almost like a set, kind of like a risotto or a set pasta.
It's like a cake, it's really cool. And portion control as well.
Well, of course, So I have some sourdough breadcrumbs. So I've just literally blended.
They are gorgeous on this, aren't they, Aidan? Sourdough is really, really good.
Keep eating, keep munching. So the Parmesan. Okay, so Parmesan into that, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little bit of the truffle oil. Just be very careful, okay? Put a little bit of that through it again, just to mirror that flavour. Toss that around, okay? And then that's going to melt, obviously, with your breadcrumbs on top. And just coat the top of that, okay? Spread it out a little bit. That's it.
You get a lot of bang for your buck, don't you?
A lot of bang for your buck. So that's easily going to feed
me and Ed.
6 good hungry savages, you know.
So how long do you cook it for?
And then so I don't cook it for too long, about half an hour.
Okay.
At about 180, and then it's just really gooey and cheesy, and it's just not, and it's perfect the next day and all of that, but it will congeal up, and then you could do that, slice it
and pan fry it, whatever. It is absolutely beautiful.
And the truffle oil's a good, you know, you can get these in a lot of like the nicer supermarkets, good supermarkets, food stores.
Is it expensive?
It's about 11 quid for that.
Okay,
so yes, it is a bit expensive, but a tiny bit.
It's going to last you, isn't it?
Ages. It's worth having in your arsenal.
Great job, Shane. Cracking
recipe. Guys. If any Americans are watching, I'm sure they're jealous of how good this is.
So good.
It really is.
Good. Full recipe details are, of course, up on the website. Or as ever, you can check out Riggers D8 in Dublin's Inchicore and tell Shane we sent you.